Good day, everybody. I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 2 English lesson on to be and to have. And before we start our lesson on to be and to have, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca, the username as well as our password, then we're going to select the subject of language arts, grade 2, and then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of to be and to have. All right. So our chapter is to be and to have. Our subject is English language arts. Grade 2, and the lessons that we are focusing on today under the chapter of to be and to have, it's to use the correct present tense form and to be also to use the correct past tense form. All right. So when it comes to be and to have, right? When we hear the word, for example, either tense, different tenses, right? And then it is basically either present tense or it is past tense. And present tense, right? And present tense basically tells us something that is happening now, right? So it tells us something that is happening now. And then we have past tense, which basically tells us something that happened already. It happened already. It happened in the past, right? And when it comes to be and to have, right? Then we are basically talking about the verb, the action that takes place, whether the action is taking place now or the action is taking place in the past. And we're first going to the first one, which is the present tense, right? And when it comes to be and to have, then it means that the verb to be is irregular, right? And when the verb is irregular, then it means that it does not follow any rules, right? So it doesn't follow any rules that most of the verbs follow. So it doesn't have a set rule where it says that you either need to add ed or you add d or something in order to show either the present tense or the past tense form of the verb. It doesn't say you must either add s or es to show the present or the past tense form of the verb, right? Which means that when it comes to the verb being irregular, right? If the verb is irregular, then it means that the wording of that verb, it kind of changes. So for example, If we, for example, say that John runs now, or John is running now, right? Or John is running after the ball, right? So run or running is our present tense form. So the past tense of the word run would be ran, right? If we say that David is listening, or let's say David was thinking of playing Xbox, or thinking of playing with his PS5, right? But now in the past, we can say David thought of playing with his Xbox or his PS5. So, which means that these verbs are irregular, right? It doesn't follow any rule, right? Because run changes to ran. So, as we can see, this letter in the middle has changed. But now, if you look at the word think and look at the word thought, right, it's like the whole wording has changed, right? So there's no rule that follows. And that is irregular verbs, right? Which means that the verb to be is irregular. So it doesn't follow any rules that most of the rules follow. So you're just going to have to remember it, right? But now, when it comes to, we have a subject, right? And we also have let's say our present tense verb, right? So the subject either tells us who or what is doing the action, and then we're going to say if it's either, then our we will choose a specific to be or to have type of verb, right? Which is either am, is, or are, right? So for example, if we say I, if we use the word I, if I'm making mention of myself, right? Now I want to tell you how old I am. I want to tell you how old I am. So I use the word the subject I, then it means that we're going to use the verb am, right? So it's like saying I am, right? There's our subject I, there's our verb am. I am how old? Let me see. You guys are grade 2, which means that you guys are probably 8 years old. So I am, or let's say I am 7 years old, right? But we use the word am. So I is the subject, am is our present tense verb, right? So I am 7 years old. So when we use the word I, we use the verb am. If you use the word, either you want to refer to he, you want to refer to she, you want to refer to it, right? So you're making mention of your friend or another person, right? And I'm saying he, you want to tell us what he is doing, right? He is running a race. So now we can say, or we can say his age. Let's tell us we're going to say his age. Then we can say he, which is maybe John, he is. So he is the subject, is the verb, and we can say he is 7 years old. Or we can say she is 7 years old. Or we can say it refers to a thing. It is biting the other people, for example, right? So he is, or she is, or it is, right? Now, if we refer to either you, which can be you guys, it refers to more than one person, or it can either refer to, if you are saying, like if I'm saying you are doing something, right? Or we can say we refers to more than one person, or they, which refers to more than one person. Then we use the verb are. So if you refer to more than one person doing an action, we say are. We refer to one person doing an action, we say is, right? So if we want to, for example, say we, so we are listening, we're going to say we are listening to Nadine, right? or we are listening to Miss Nadine. So we is our subject, are is our verb. So we are listening to Miss Nadine, right? Or we are dancing, or we are going somewhere, right? So that is basically our to be present tense verbs, right? And the specific subjects that we use it with. So if we use the subject I, if we make mention of the subject I, then it means that we need to use the present tense verb am with the word I. If we either refer to he or she or it, which is one person, right? Which is singular, one person, then we refer to he is, she is, or it is doing something. If we refer to more than one person, so either you are, we are, or they are doing something, right? All right. So now if we look at our sentence over here, right? Before we go to the past tense form, we are first going to complete these three sentences over here. It says complete the sentence with the correct present tense form of to be, right? It says we. Do we say we am so happy for you? We is so happy for you? Or do we say we are so happy for you? What present tense verb do we have to use with this word within the sentence we? Do we say we am, we is, or we are so happy for you? Which verb is the correct verb that must go with our subject we? Do we say we am so happy for you? Do we say we is so happy for you? Or do we say we are so happy for you? What is the verb that we must use within that sentence? All right, and if we were to choose the correct verb, right, the present tense form of the verb, then we can say we are so happy for you. So well done. We are so happy for you is correct, right? So are is the verb that basically correctly goes within that sentence. So are is correct. So well done. All right, now we go to number two. It says I. Do we say I am always on time for school? Do we say I is always on time for school, or I are always on time for school? We need to choose the correct present tense verb. I am, I are, or I is always on time for school. I am, I is, I are. So do I say I am always on time for school? I is or I are always on time for school? All right, then if we choose the correct one, we can say I am always on time for school. So I am. So well done. I am is correct. So I am, right? If we look at the next one, right? The next one says he. We're referring to one person, right? Do we say he am, he is, or he are at Johnny's house right now? Do we say he am, he is, or he are at Johnny's house right now? We're referring to one person. Do we say he am, he is, he are at Johnny's house right now? All right. And if we were to choose the correct one, right? If we were to choose the correct one, we would say he is. He is at Johnny's house right now. Because if we're referring to one person doing something, whether it is he or it is she or it is it, right? Then we say is. He is. She is. It is. Right? Yes. So well done. All right. And we see that the to be verb is irregular. It does not follow any rules like most of the verbs do. You're just going to have to remember the form. And when we use the subject I, right, then we use the verb am. For example, I am. If we use the subject he, she, or it, we will refer to one person doing something. We say he, she, or it is. And if we're referring to more than one person or you doing something, then we say either you, we, or they are doing, right? And that is our present tense form, right, of to be. Now we're going to our past tense form of to be, right, in the past, right? And once again, remember the verb to be is irregular and we do not follow any rules, right? So if we look at our subject now, if we, for example, in the past, we're not talking about in the past, if we're referring to I, right? If I am saying that I am doing something, right? Then I can say, like, in the past, which is maybe yesterday, right? I can say, I was. Okay, maybe say, I was, which is I was maybe at Whitney's house. Just an example, right? Or I was playing with Whitney, right? If we're referring to either he doing something, she doing something, or it doing something, then we also say was. He was, she was, it was, right? Because we're referring to one person doing something. So we can, for example, say, she was playing with her friends, right? But she, that is she, one person, right? So was. So she was, he was, or it was. And if we're referring to either you or refer to we or they, which is more than one person, then we say more than one person were, right? So they were running. We were playing catch. You were playing with your Xbox, right? So we can, for example, say were um they were playing football, right? Just an example, right? So they and were. So if we refer to more than one person doing something, we say were. If we referring to one person doing something, we say was. If I say I, say was, right? So now we're going to complete the sentence with the correct past tense form of the verb. We're either going to use was or we're going to use were, right? It says he. Do we say he was a safe driver or do we say he were a safe driver? He. Do we say he was a safe driver or he were a safe driver? We need to choose the correct verb, right? Past tense verb with the subject he. Do we say he was or he were? All right. So if we choose the correct verb, right, we either need to choose was or were, and then we're going to say he, which refers to one person, right? And we're going to say he was a safe driver. So was is correct. So well done. Was is correct. He was, because we use the verb was to refer to one person doing the action. So well done. All right, now we're going to say they, right? We're going on to they. Do we say they was busy on Saturday night or they were busy on Saturday night? We need to choose the correct one. They was busy on Saturday night or they were busy on Saturday night. So they were or they was. When referring to more than one person, right? Remember we said that if we're referring to more than one person, Look at look at these words over here. Here's our subjects and here's our either the past tense verbs. I goes with was, he was, she was, it was. And then we say you were, we were, or they were. So now the question is, it says they. Do we say they was, which refers to more than one person doing something, or do we say they were busy on Saturday night? All right, and if we choose the correct one, we can say they were. Because we use the word were, right, to refer to more than one person doing something, or we refer to you as doing something. So we can either say they were, or we were, or you were busy on Saturday night, right? So were is correct, right? So well done. Were is correct. All right. If we're going to the last one, it says we. Do we say we was, or we were with our grandmother and grandfather last night? Do we say we was, referring to more than one person, right? Do we say we was, or we were with our grandmother and grandfather last night? So we was, or we were with our grandmother and grandfather last night. We refers to more than one person doing the action, right? All right, and if we choose the correct one, and then we will say we were, right? So we were. So well done. We were is correct. So were is correct, right? And that is our past tense verbs, right? And that basically tells us the action, right, that took place in the past. It's something that you did in the past. You was, he was, you were, for example. All right, and we are doing a tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca, right? And we are doing the chapter of to be and to have. And we're going to the first lesson that says to be, use the correct present tense form. Were is correct. So well done. All right, so we're going to the tutorial lesson now of the present tense form of to be. And we said we use the subject I, and the present tense verb is am. For example, I am. We use either he is, she is, or it is. And we're referring to more than one. We say in the present, you are, we are, or they are. So this is in the present, right? All right, so we're going to do two activities and then we're going to our test, right? It says we need to complete the sentence with the correct present tense form to be. So we're either going to choose am, we're going to choose is, or we're going to choose are. And look at these words over here because it will guide you, right? Like the subject I, we use the verb am. The subject he, she, or it, we use the present tense verb is. The subject you, we, or they, which refers to more than one person, we use the present tense verb are, right? All right, we need to now choose or complete the sentence with the correct present tense form to be. And it says, she, which refers to one person, Do we say she am, she is, or she are a clever girl with a pretty smile? She. Do we say she am, she is, or she are a clever girl with a pretty smile? So do we say she am, she is, or she are? All right. And if we choose the correct one, we are by she, she. So if we choose the correct one, then we are going to say she is, right? So she is a clever girl with a pretty smile. So well done. Is correct. She is, all right? Because that is our present tense verb. Let's do one more and then we're going to our test. It says, I. Do we say I am the best player on the team? I is the best player on the team, or I are the best player on the team? I. We are by I. Do we say I am, I is, or I are the best player on the team? All right, and if we choose the correct one or the correct verb, then we can say I am. So well done. Am is the correct verb within that sentence. So I am the best player on the team. All right, so now we're going on to our test, right? We're going on to our test where we are either going to say, we're going to use the correct present tense form, right? All right, so we're going to complete the sentence with the correct present tense form to be, right? So we look at the sentence, we're either going to choose are or we're going to choose is. It says she are at the dad's house this weekend, or do we say she is at the dad's house this weekend? So we're either choosing the first option are or the second option is. She are at the dad's house this weekend, or she is at the dad's house this weekend. She is or she are. So we need to choose the correct present tense form of to be. Are or is. All right, and if we choose the correct present tense form of the verb or of the word to be, then we can say she is at her dad's house this weekend, right? So is correct. So well done, is correct. All right. The next one says we. Do we say we are wet for the rain or we am wet for the rain? We are refers to more than one person. Do we say we are wet for the rain or we am wet for the rain or of the rain? So is it the first one, we are, or the second one, we am? We are or we am? All right, and if we choose the correct one, right, the correct present tense form of the word to be, then we can say we are wet for the rain. So R is correct. So well done. It's the one more, and then we're going on to the past forms. Do we say I are busy on the computer right now or I am busy on the computer right now? I are or I am busy on the computer right now? I are busy on the computer right now or I am busy on the computer right now? All right, and if we choose the correct one, then we can say, I am busy on the computer right now. So well done. Well done, am is correct. So now we're going to be use the correct past tense form of the verb, right? So we're going to either use was or we're going to use were. So we're either going to use was, I was, ye, she, or it was, or more than one person, which is either you, we, or they were, right? All right, we need to complete the sentence with the past tense form of to be. Do we say you were or you was the best one in the play? You were or you was the best one in the play? You, we're referring to you. You was or you were. All right, and if we choose the correct form, right, of to be, and then we can say you were the best one in the play because we either said you, we, or they were. So well done, were is correct. They, which refers to more than one person. Do we say they was brave on the first day of school or they were brave on the first day of school? They was or they were? So they was or they were? All right, and if we were to choose the correct past tense form of to be, then we can say they were. Because if we refer to more than one person or we refer to you, then we can either say you, they, or we were. Right? So well done, were is correct. Let's go on to the last one. Right? Do we say I was happy at my school in Hampton or I were happy at my school in Hampton? I was happy or I were happy at my school in Hampton. All right, and if we choose the past tense form of to be, then we can say I was happy at my school in Hampton. So well done, well done. Was is correct, right? All right, so this was our chapter on to be and to have, right? And we say to be, we can either use the present tense form, right? And with that, it is where the verb is irregular, right? So you're just gonna have to remember the form. So when we use in the present tense I, then we say either I am, or we can say he, she, or it is, or we can say they or we were. And in the past tense, we say I was, he or she was, or they were. All right. So that is now the end of our lesson on to be and to have. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining the class, and I really hope that you have a good evening further. Goodbye. Yes. What is the question? Is it Winnie? What is the? You may ask the question. You may ask the question. Winnie, are you still asking the question, or you? Oh, okay. Which chapter are we at? Um. Oh, it's your first time here. We are on the. We're doing the chapter of to be and to have. So we're doing the chapter to be and to have. I think that is like if I go back, that is like somewhere there. It was just after regular past tense. So we are doing the chapter of to be and to have. No, I can't hear you. I can only read your messages. I think you can only hear me. But we are doing the chapter of to be and to have. All right. So we are going to, on our next lesson, also continue on to be and to have because we haven't finished all the lessons. But I really hope that your first day was okay and you understood at least what we were doing today. Right? So it's lovely having you guys, especially the ones who are new. So till next time, right? So you should have a good evening further. All right. So goodbye.